Hello and welcome to everyone. Today, our guest is, well, we can say new inked UFC fighter, Adrian Yanez. Adrian, can you please say some words about yourself so we can continue with the interview? And please, thank you for joining.
Oh man, thank you very much, man. I'm just blessed, man, to be in this position that I'm in. I went out there, earned the contract for the UFC. Uh, it's still crazy. Man, it's still unbelievable that I was able to make my dream come true. To get into the UFC. Now, I'm just on the path of making bigger and better goals, and this is what I live for.
That's amazing. When did you start training mixed martial arts?
Started training mixed martial arts when I was 15 years old. I just happened to run by an MMA gym at a mall, out of all places, a mall. And from there on out, it just I just started training and fell in love with it. Nothing, and I wanted to keep going after it because it was just something I really like to do. Started jiu-jitsu, and then after that, got into a little bit of kickboxing. Got into my first MMA fight. From there, I went to a new gym called Metro Fight Club. Uh, to my new gym at the time, a Metro Fight Club, and then after that, stuck with Metro Fight Club from there on out.
How would you describe your fighting style? From what I've seen, I'd say you're well rounded. Am I right or not?
Oh yeah, pretty well rounded. Yeah, pretty well rounded, man. I love everything, but at the same time, I love to box. I love throwing my hands just because it's fun for me. I love going out there and like knocking people out. If I can hit them in the face and put them unconscious, man, that's what I'm setting out to do.
It kind of reminds of Chris Duncan from Bellator. He said exactly the same what you said, so it would be knockout artist. Am I right?
Oh yeah, if I can get labeled a knockout artist, man, that'd be amazing. That's something I'm striving for, man. If I can knock people out, that's if I go out there and I just start knocking my first three fighters out in the UFC, man, that'd be amazing. Get labeled a knockout artist, and man, it's made for me, man. I love it.
Yeah, it's awesome. Who are your coaches at the moment?
I just have one coach, and that's Saul Solis, and he does my jiu-jitsu, he does my striking. He's well rounded as well. He's done wrestling with Tito Ortiz and Mark Coleman, a lot of those high level wrestlers. And then he got his black belt from Rico Rodriguez, who got them from the Machados. So I got a really good coach who knows everything about MMA. So it's one of those things that like I have a coach who's well rounded, so I'm able to have a coach that I'm able to be a fighter that's really well rounded. But his bread and butter is Muay Thai and striking and boxing. So it just shows how well I've gotten better because my go-to is boxing and I love striking. So we're just a perfect fit.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's really, really fantastic. It's great when you have one coach and when you're a perfect fit. It's very rare in the world of MMA. Did you pick a nickname?
Oh no, man! I had people picking them for me. Like a lot of people were like, "Oh, well, after this fight, Dana White called you the sniper. Called you a sniper. We should go a sniper." People were like, "Oh, you should be the Mayan because of your Mexican blood and everything." And I was like, it's nice. It feels like it fits." And then the funniest one to me was mantequilla. Mantequilla is Spanish for butter. So the people were saying I was smooth as butter. And I was like, that one's funny. I like the connotation behind it. But it's whatever. But no, I really don't have a nickname. Uh, so I honestly, if it comes natural and some people just start giving it to me, I'm cool with it. But until then, I think I just like my name, Adrian Yanez.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I got my nickname from fans, so it's definitely when somebody comes up with something that's good, you accept it. It's kind of normal, I assume. Can we discuss your first amateur fight and your toughest amateur opponent?
And my first amateur fight was crazy. I was 17 years old and I was fighting a grown man. He was like I think he was like I was 17. He was like 22, 23. I can't remember. I think yeah, he was that age, around that age, and he was a tough fighter. It was very weird. It was very surreal to me because At the time, I didn't know if that's exactly what I wanted to do. But once I stepped in there and got into the fight was it went really great for me, and it cemented me to what I wanted to do in MMA. I wanted to fight. I wanted to keep on fighting, and it just made my passion for the sport so much bigger. And my toughest amateur fight was probably my very first one because like I had to overcome everything. Like, because my nerves were my biggest factor. Like, my nerves were just like it kind of made me a little bit paralyzed for a second because how nervous and and anxious I was about like even stepping into a cage and fighting somebody who was trained to fight me at the time. So it was a little crazy and everything, but everything settled down once I had talked with my dad, and my dad told me, he's like, look, this is what you set out to do. So you go out there, you put 100% effort, and then just gave me a hug, and then went to go fight, and the rest is history.
Can you please look back at your first professional fight?
Man, my first professional fight was was cool because I fought on a couple same card as now UFC fighter Alex Morano. I fought on the same card as him, and what was actually crazy is that we fought in a boxing ring. Alex Morano was fighting this guy. I think his name was the Spartan or something like that. It was some weird. He had some long name, but since they were in a boxing ring, the guy shot in for a blast double and actually sent them flying through the ropes, and they actually ended up going out the ropes onto the concrete floor. And I'm surprised they still kept fighting. They got back in the ring and still kept fighting because they hit the floor hard. They hit the floor really, really hard. That fight ended up being a disqualification because the dude ended up biting Alex Morano in the chest, and you could see the bite mark whenever he came back, which freaked me out because I was about to walk out to my fight, and I look at Alex Morano, I'm like, wait, is that a bite mark? He's like, yeah, the fucker bit me. So that made me a little bit nervous for my first pro fight, but whenever I was in there, it was a good experience. You know, I fought a really high level Taekwondo striker, you know, and I was able to stop him in the third round. So it was a good experience for me because it was just all different. It was a different environment. It was a boxing ring. I was around a lot of like boxing heads because it was a mixed card, had boxing and MMA, so it was very weird, but for me to go and overcome all that was pretty cool.
How did you defeat Jake? Now correct me if I'm wrong. Snyder or Snyder?
Snyder, Jake Snyder. Yes. Oh man, that fight to me was I was coming back from a broken jaw. I was going like I had a lot of things going on in my mind. So once I walked into that ring, I was just like, man, I've already broken my jaw. Like I've already felt like I've been like, because I was coming back from I was coming back from my first ever loss. I didn't lose as an amateur. My first pro fight, I won. So coming back and I broke my jaw in that second fight with Levi Moles, and I ended up losing. You know, had to get surgery, didn't come back. Once I came back and fought Jake Snyder, like I was I was out for such a long time, you know, with a fractured jaw. So like once everything healed up, I was in the cage, and I was like, dude, I've already felt like I've been embarrassed with the loss. You know, I've already had a broken jaw. Nothing worse can really like bug me. So whenever I went inside that cage, I was just super relaxed, and I was like, I'm just gonna hurt this guy. And I found my opening, and there's the videos up there, man. I go out there, hit him with the overhand right, and just didn't stop until the referee pulled me off. And it was a good one. It was a really good one.
So you're mentioning overhand right. You mentioned it 2 or 3 times. Is it your favorite strike, or you have another favorite?
Oh no, man! I love the overhand right. There's different variations where you can throw it from. It's nice. It's a really great strike, but I love all of them, man. Anything that lands is my favorite punch.
So you don't have a favorite one. Alright, that's rare. Can we discuss your Bellator debut?
Yeah, my Bellator debut, man, that was a rough one for me because I was going through a lot of personal things, I was at that time, 2 weeks before my father had passed away, and it was just like it was gut wrenching because I couldn't like I was like I was we were trying to figure out how my dad would be able to watch the fight. We were trying to find out like trying to get the tablet to be able to watch for my dad to be able to watch the fight uh, from his hospital room and everything. But 2 weeks before the fight, he passed away, and it was really hard. It was really really hard. So whenever I uh, went into that fight, I just went after him. Like it was a little bit. I felt off as well. Like for that fight, I wasn't 100% in my head, and then also I wasn't physically 100% because I had broke my right hand before that fight. Uh, Things happened, and I punched the wall and ended up breaking my hand before the fight. Just a lot of emotions during that time because like I was dealing with my father, what happened with my father, so it was just a lot of craziness that happened. And I went in there and I fought my fight. It wasn't the way I wanted it to go. I want knockouts, but the way that fight ended up going, I couldn't be happier with it.
Outstanding. So you were mentally very, very tough. Can you discuss your victory over Colin Wright?
Oh man, Colin Wright, that one was a tough fight. That one was a really tough fight. Me and him, uh, we kind of paralleled each other in our MMA careers for a long time. He he was a Houston guy, and I'm a Houston, Texas guy. So it was just a matter of time of when we were gonna fight. And we somehow dodged each other as amateurs, and then he turned pro, and then like a couple months later, I turned pro. He was getting fights. He was fighting on Legacy back when it was LFC instead of LFA. He was getting on TV spots, and I just remember just slowly working my way back into there. And then finally, we ended up getting that fight made. And the first round didn't like. I felt like it wasn't going my way, but I felt like I was doing good up until I got caught. I overextended. Like I overextended on the punch. I felt like as soon as I overextended, he caught me with a short right punch. And what didn't really hurt, but it just knocked me off balance. And I just remember being like, "Whoa, like, wow, that was weird." But then after that, like I came through, started working my way in the second round. I started out striking him. Then in the third round, I was already starting out striking him again, and then he took me down. And that's whenever I found my armbar. He was over top trying to ground and pound, and I set it up on whenever he was throwing his strike downwards. Just kicked my leg over for the armbar. It was super tight, super tight.
What can you say about your LFA debut, and what do you think about LFA as a promotion? Because you fought at LFA more than 2 times, so I believe you know many things that other people don't know.
Man, LFA is a great promotion, and they have a really great platform for fighters to go out there. Like they were on HDNet, Access TV. Now they're on UFC Fight Pass, so they're just trying to get the best ways to put the fighter out there and give them a platform to expose themselves. Like they're out there, they want to expose themselves to the world, expose themselves to any MMA community going out there and just trying to show off and trying to show their skills. So LFA was great for doing that, and man, they were great for putting me in the spots that I was in. Most of the times I was a co-main event or main event. There was like a time where I was a featured bout, but like they always gave me good slots on the card, so I was never not televised. I was always on TV or on UFC Fight Pass, so I got some really good exposure. So I really thank LFA for putting me on there.
Alright, how did your LFA debut go? Your first fight?
That was Domingo Pilarte, I believe. That fight was a very close fight. It could have gone either way. I feel like it should have gone my way, just because I don't give too much credence to takedowns if you don't do nothing with it. And I felt like I landed the most damage. Like I was out there in the third round, I got close to finishing him. So it was a toss up, man. I feel It depends on what you were looking for. Like for me, I was looking for the knockout. I was looking to inflict damage. I felt like he was just trying to win on points. Didn't really do much. Anytime he took me down, I was already trying to work my way back up, and I, I just felt like I did enough to win. But the judges didn't see it that way, so you know, it is what it is.
How did you stop Nathan Trepanier?
Man, it was just all timing. It was all timing. I like at the beginning of the fight, I was gunning for his head because I wanted to get an earlier knockout. Like I just started throwing a little bit of haymakers, got a little bit wild in the exchanges until I threw an overhand left. An overhand left ended up I ended up breaking my hand. So once I broke my hand, I knew that I broke it. I just remember just being like, all right, cool. I just need to relax, and I just need to time my shots, and then find the knockout shot because whenever I was going wild, I ended up breaking my hand, and then whenever the closing seconds went down, I saw him lunge in, and that's whenever I threw my uppercut and knocked him out.
Which are the greatest risks when the fighter starts throwing wild haymakers or any kind of wild barrage of strikes?
Oh yeah, that's the greatest time for you to throw back. A lot of people look at the wild strikes and be a little bit scared because, man, you don't know if that's going to clip you or what's going to go on. So sometimes it's better just to sit back and relax and watch them throw the wild stuff and just go straight down the pipe. That's where you'll get your most notable knockouts because they're overextending, their chin's exposed, and you just go right down the pipe. They'll get knocked out. The force of them throwing the right overhand or whatever, like their force meeting your force, they're going down.
Yeah, it's very dangerous when he starts swinging wildly. I mean, it is 50-50, right?
Oh yeah, it's 50-50 a lot of times, man. I've started being a lot more precautious in my approach. I used to swing a lot more wild, and then after that I just started having to tighten everything up because I started breaking my hands a lot more, and also I saw that it would leave people exposed. So it's better just to keep it technical, man. It's super better to keep it technical.
Yeah, absolutely. How did you defeat Kyle Estrada?
Man, it was all about space, and I was trying not to give him any. It was about space and adjustment. I had to adjust because he was trying to chop out my leg the whole entire time. He was trying to chop out my leg, and he stopped a couple people with those leg kicks, those low calf kicks. But I just knew if I was getting him to back up, he wouldn't be able to throw those calf kicks. He wouldn't have enough power on those calf kicks. And I just had to keep coming forward. Anytime he threw something, I had to come back. I had to come back and throw in combination. If I was throwing single pot shots like how I would before, he would ate my leg up a lot more. So I had to keep him guessing and switch up angles every once in a while, switch stances, give him different looks. But yeah, he was a tough guy. I was aiming for shots to knock him out, but he just had a chin on him that night. And there's a lot of shots that I threw at him that I felt would have knocked out anybody else. But man, props to Kyle Estrada. He took every shot. I feel like it should have been a unanimous decision. The one judge who scored it for Kyle, I don't know what he was looking at because I was pressing forward. I landed the harder shots, definitely in the second and third. But other than that, it was a really, really great fight. Just cut him off through sharp boxing, and just when it was a great night for me.
At the Light Contender series, you earned one of the quickest knockouts. So, can you technically describe your fight from the beginning to the end?
And beginning, I was just against the cage. I remember just looking across the cage and just looking and seeing Brady Wong, and just looking at him and just be like, "Hey, sorry, but tonight's not your night." And as soon as we started, I started circling to my right. I just wanted to see what he would do, and I think he threw a kick. And I wanted to come back after him. I think it threw a right hand and then a double jab, and then out of nowhere, I thought he was just gonna throw a jab because his corner was just calling for a jab, but he threw a right hand. I had already slipped out the jab, but he threw the straight right, and it landed on my chin. But I was already backing away a little bit, and I was already anticipating a punch coming at me anyways. And then once he threw that right hand, he shot in. He shot in, tried to get double unders on me, trying to get a takedown, push me against the fence. But I already knew what he wanted to do. So as soon as he went for the double unders, I knew that the body was open. So I threw a short little knee. It eased up on his grip when he was going for the double unders. Put my back against the fence just so I could have a little bit secure spot and know where I'm at. And he started throwing a couple strikes, and I moved off the fence. Then after that, he threw a combination and automatically threw a right and a left hook. And he threw a right kick, and then after that, I felt like I knew what he wanted to do. I saw him load up on that right hand, and he sat down on it, and he just launched it. When I automatically saw how telegraphed it was, like for me, it was telegraphed. He shot the straight right. I automatically knew I wanted to slip off the center line and throw my straight right. And then after that, once I landed that straight right, my first initial reaction was just to throw the left hook. And good thing I did because it landed right on the button. And then after that, I just remember just watching him drop. And then he came back up. And when he came back up, that's whenever I unloaded a five punch combination that sat him down.
One of the greatest finishes ever. So what do you think about your UFC gatekeeping opponent?
Man, I think it's a great matchup for me. He's a tough Muay Thai fighter. He's a southpaw, but I've already fought bigger southpaws. I've already fought better strikers. He's a striker, but man, once he realizes how fast my hands are, how powerful my hands are, how precise my punching is, he's gonna want to wrestle. And then I've already fought better wrestlers than him. So once time comes, man, I think I'm gonna have another first round finish, and I think it's gonna be like 3 or 4 minutes in, just because I feel he's gonna overcommit to something. And that's whenever I'm gonna find my opening and I'm gonna knock him out.
Yeah, it would be great. I just hope the match is. I think it's closing in. I hope you're training hard and you're doing some hard training sessions. I hope you're fine with injuries. You have no injuries at the moment, or?
No injuries, man. I came out that Brady fight with no injuries. My left hand was sore, but it was just sore. But other than that, no injuries, man. I've been taking really good care of my body, and also like the massage tools that I've been using, man. They work 100%. Like they're great.
Yeah, so recovery is good. Would you like to add something? Maybe greet someone. Is there something maybe we missed?
I don't know, man. We covered a lot. Thank you for that, man. Thank you.
No problem. I like to cover fighters' careers. So I will start creating video now. I will probably post it tomorrow because it needs some time until the video is created.
Okay, man. That's perfect.
Okay, I will send you a video. Thank you so much for this interview, Adrian. Right.
Have a good one, sir.
Have a great day.